Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back. It's not often that you get to see a Tiger 2 do a lot of damage and bounce a lot of shots. It's just not often. It used to be often when it first came out, but in today's meta, this tank is, let's just say it's a little bit power creep slightly, right? It's a tough thing to do well in. The armor just doesn't hold up very well anymore, and it's slow. And yada yada yada. But let's watch Triumphus from the STLT clan. And he's gonna just have the game of his life in a Tiger 2, which is always nice to see. So we're gonna watch the Tiger 2. Because I like all the German tanks. I really like the German tanks, and it's far and few between you see some really good Tiger 2 games. When's the last time you saw a really good Tiger 2 game? When's the last time you saw a really good Tiger game? The Tiger's a good tank, has a fantastic gun. So does this, but it's just tough. It's just tough. And in this particular match, he's tier 8. He's not. He thankfully doesn't have to fight tier 9s and 10s. And he's got a hull down T-32, which is very difficult. You know, even after aiming for 12 seconds, boop, the shot just misses. Now, if this was a tier 10 game, right, he would have been trundling along here. He would have been shot twice while he was crossing the opening. And when he got here and poked, he would have had a couple of object, whatever the fucks, that just snap him with heat. And he'd be down to about 700 HP right now. Boom. Okay, beautiful. And he's bouncing shots off his turret. And I guess this is the perfect situation for a Tiger. Oh, and the guy disappeared. Why? I guess the guy's outside his... Oh, look, that's not how you use a Tiger. See, showing his lower plate like that? And he backed up in time. This is the perfect position for a Tiger. Is hull down, protecting the lower plate, just showing your turret, or your angled upper plate. Angled, you know, when you're leaning back. But at some distance. See how the enemies are a little ways away. And the reason that really helps is because they just have a lot harder time hitting that stupid little the thing on top of the tank. This thing. Where is it? That thing. It's and boom, he's trying. Now back up a little bit. Back up, back. Because when the enemies get closer, they can hit it easier, right? So middle to long range. Now he's going to aim. Oh, he missed it. See, even at this distance, it's just that the gun's not that accurate, is it? So that describes some tanks as mid-range or powerful mid to long range. I don't know where that... Did you see where that shot went? They're going nowhere near where he aims. Nowhere near where he aims. He's fully aimed. Okay, that time it did. But generally speaking, his shots are deviating from that bullseye a lot, and that's Sigma. That's he's being cursed by the Sigma function, which is deviating his shells. He just shoot the roof. Shoot the... No, he just missed. Wow, very frustrating. I just quit, escape, and never play this tank again after these shots. Like shot after shot after shot that go nowhere near where you aim. And don't be fooled by the fanboys or the other content providers that lie, and wargaming that lies. The Sigma function is not the same for every tank. It's just some people understand this. There's some content providers that understand this, but there's some that have their heads up their ass and just say, oh yeah, you need to just learn to aim and get good. Every tank has a different distribution of their shells. They're all the same shape. Oh, that time he hit. They're all the same in that they're a bell curve, okay? And all the shots congregate to the center. They're all the same. That's true. But how wide that bell curve is different for all tanks. There's a different Sigma function that wargaming has. It's a hidden stat that you don't know, and there just is. Oh, that time he stopped. Good. Some tanks, I'm speaking of fully aimed. I'm not talking about if you add all the what are they called? The penalties. Like if you shoot with your turret traversing, your hull traversing, and you're going to have some penalties. Your circle's going to bloom, and your shot's going to deviate in that. There's a larger area to deviate into. I'm not talking about that. People get confused with what I'm trying to say and that. I'm talking about when you're fully aimed. And this guy's fully aiming almost all of his shots. When you're fully aimed and you have your dispersion of 0.36 per 100 meters and you're fully aimed. He wasn't fully aimed, but boy, that deviated a lot. When you're fully aimed, where does the shot go? And the dispersion within that circle is governed by the sigma function, which it's either a very sharp bell curve like this, which means like a large percentage of the shots are right on the bullseye, and there's a scattering around the outside, or it's a wider bell curve, which they still congregate to the center, but there's many more scattering around the outside. And different tanks are different. Some of them, like the Leopard, and it was patches and patches ago, was actually buffed. The Leopard has a really good sigma function. Just if you go in the training room and you take 20 shots with a Leopard, fully aimed, a lot of them hit bullseye, and out of 20 there may be a couple or 3 that just deviate a little bit. But if you took 1,000 shots, you'd have most of them congregating in the bullseye and a couple scattering around in that circle. But that's a very sharp sigma function. So that you would say, oh, this is a beautiful gun. But there's other tanks, and I guess this might be one of them. And there's other ones that you can fully aim, and the shots there are going to be a lot of them that miss bullseye. And you know what those tanks are. And it's not that you're not good and you need to learn to aim. It's just the characteristic of the tank. This is the way it is. It's not a published statistic, but it exists. It's just the way it is, guys. Oh, the Wargaming never mentioned that. This guy's having a good game despite his not very steep sigma function. He's doing the best he can. But those type of tanks drive me nuts, right? There's think of the French tanks, like the Bat Chat. Boy, try the sigma function on that. And back in the day, like an old video that I did, before they kind of had a buff to all the accuracy, where they just basically, I think they just readjusted the sigma for all the tanks. I remember doing a video where I compared Leopard shooting at an E100 and a KV2 shooting at an E100, and we took like 10 or 20 shots. And the Leopard took 10 or 20 shots. I think it was 20. I can't remember. You can watch the video. Accuracy, Leopard compared to KV2. And the KV2 hit more bullseyes than the Leopard in the training room. I think it was 10 or 20 shots I did. But it just showed that your accuracy stat was meaningless when you aimed. It was all like, how much do the shells congregate around bullseye? And then, but since then they've really buffed the Leopard. The Leopard now has an amazing sigma function, and almost every shot is a bullseye. Like 90% of your shots are bullseyes, unless you move. Remove the from your mind that if you move, or you move your turret, or if you don't have vert stabs. No. Besides all that, remove the penalties from movement and traverse. I'm not speaking of those. That's a separate topic. The tank is still, not moving. There's no penalties. You fully aim, you press the trigger, you fire. Will your shot hit bullseye or not? What's the distribution within the aim circle? That's governed by the sigma function. And now, hopefully his teammates handle that. That was nice. Hopefully his teammates handle the guys at the base. It's just a Super Pershing. The Skoda's going back now. And that guy missed. He hit the rock. And he hits him. He hits him first. Why didn't the commander say, we hits him first? Before he hits us, we hits him. Boom. And we reloading first. And has that Super Pershing not been able to just Oh, he took out the Scorpion. Well done. Decap, please, he says. Very nice. The Super Pershing sacrificed most of his HP to kill the Scorpion, and now he knows. So beautiful game by the Tiger. That gun would drive me nuts. But look at how many shots he bounced. Right? He did 6,504 damage, but we have to give a special honorary mention to Silver YOLO in the Super Pershing that was smart enough to go back and decap, as the Tiger said. And like 36 shots, 28 hit, 19 pen. That kind of statistic there, that's typical of a tank that has poor Sigma. That drives me nuts. I just do not like playing tanks like that. But hey, he made it work. Well done. Let's watch a different heavy tank, the Carnarvon. Now, typically the British tanks have very good Sigma. Let's see if his gun behavior is better. You know another tank that has really good Sigma? The M60. I played that and wow. That gun, whew, beautiful. The M60, the Bond tank. What other tanks have really good Sigma that I can remember? I think the Tortoise. I just from gut feel from playing it, I felt had really good Sigma. A tank that has really bad Sigma, Grillet. Ugh. Better accuracy than most, but bad Sigma. That's why it's so troll. That's why so many people play the Grillet. And not only bad Sigma, but low shell velocity. There's so many different little stats that are not the main stats people read that affect the way the tank plays. And that Grillet suffers from low shell velocity, bad Sigma, and lots of penalties if you're moving the turret or traversing the hull. So if you're not fully stationary and fully aimed with the Grillet, with your low shell velocity and bad Sigma, you get trolled so much. You have to really modify the way you play with the Grillet so that you don't incur any of the penalties and you fully aim. And you will still get trolled. Your shot will still hit the dirt whenever Wargaming decides. But the British guns typically have very good Sigma. Like he said, let's see if his shots, how much closer they congregate to the center. Well, he, 2 bullseyes, but he did not. He only had a sliver of the enemy there. And I guess this gun has a little bit less alpha. It fires faster. I don't know. Maybe Wargaming's thinking, well, it's less alpha. It's going to be more accurate. The higher alpha gun, give it a little bit worse Sigma, so that I don't know what the reason is. Mr. Carnarvon hiding behind the rock. And he's doing the right thing, because if he pushes up there, he's got a cheese hull, right? He's going to wait for the enemies to make mistakes. What's the alpha? Is it 240? At 280. Let's just watch and intuitively, not intuitively, just from watching, tell me if more shots hit towards the bullseye than the Tiger. When I play the British tanks, I enjoy them more, even though they're harder. For me, you have to be hull down. Maybe I'm not very good at the British tanks, but I like the way the gun feels, right? The gun feels much better because the shots, apart from being really accurate as well, the shots just seem to congregate towards bullseye. Now, we can't really tell anything here because the aim circle is so small that even if it's going anywhere in there, but see if you can tell. Do the shots go near the edge of the circle there? Like to me, they all seem like bullseyes to me. If the Tiger had this kind of in the previous game, if his shots were congregating around the bullseye like this, that Tiger would have churned through those guys, like a hot knife through butter. So beautiful, and it's well known. I guess the community would say these, like the Carnarvon and tanks like of this British variety, people would just say, "Oh, good gun handling," which is it's a little confusing because it's not just the Sigma that's different. When he moves his turret and traverses his hull, he doesn't incur very much penalty either. So you'll notice when he's moving around, the circle's not getting that much bigger, because this tank also has lower penalties than, say, the Tiger II, which when it moved its turret and moved its hull, the aim circle bloomed more. So for the Tiger, here's a little aside. So for the Tiger 2, it's probably more advantageous to equip it with vert stabs and maybe improve rotation, because they will reduce those penalties. Look at that, like the bullseyes here are incredible, right? For the Tiger 2, vert stabs and improved rotation are good choices of equipment, because both those types of equipment reduce the penalty. They reduce penalties, which the Tiger gets a lot of. When the Tiger is moving, traversing its hull, or moving its turret, the aim circle blooms. That's a penalty that's applied. But vert stabs decreases that by 20% during turret movement, and improved rotation during hull movement decreases it by 10 or 15%. And it depends what slot you put it in and blah, blah, blah. But this tank, the Carnarvon, does not have that much of a penalty while it's moving its hull and traversing. So maybe not the best choice for equipment. You probably don't need the vert stabs and improved rotation. Maybe with this tank, it's a better choice to just, if you want it to be more accurate, just go improved aiming. So your circle's smaller all the time. Since it's not blooming very much anyway, it's not incurring the penalties, might as well have it smaller right from the get-go. And when you're fully aimed, you're even more accurate. So for this tank, if I don't know if I'd put improved aiming on a Carnarvon, but you see, I'm just giving you the... don't think of it as me recommending improved aiming for the Carnarvon, but just in general, right? When you check this, the penalties incurred by the tank during turret hull rotation, and if those penalties are big, vert stabs, improved rotation, good choice. But if they're not big, maybe a waste of a slot if you put those in. You could put something else in, turbo, or if you want to stay stealthy, low noise muffler, or something like that, something different. Or if you want to improve the gun, improved aiming. And you put improved aiming on the Tiger, unless you're fully aimed, it's not helping you that much, because your circle's blooming. It's a blooming circle. Anyways, we kind of went around and around on different... oh, beautiful. This gun compared to the Tiger gun, wow. Huh? It's beautiful. It is very beautiful. Well, I hope our little discussion maybe made you think a little bit. It's very nice to see the Tiger do well, and it's going to be good to see this Carnarvon do well. So if you did not have the full gun depression... whoa, oh, he noticed this guy. Boom, and he just snaps it. Just beautiful. Just bullseye. There was no aiming there. The Tiger would have missed that shot. If the Tiger whipped the turret around and just snapped that, and that's not only Sigma, but he would have had a big bloom because of the penalty. So there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of things going on. Not just the point I'm trying to make. There's half a dozen things going on. Boom. So what to do now? He's not done a lot of damage, but he's got 5 kills. And he's lost half his HP, so he does not want to just barge forward now. Or does he? He's going to barge. It's an SU-152, which could really hurt you. Oh, he did. Bad Sigma? Good Sigma. That's exactly my point. That SU-152 was waiting there. He knew he was in the bush. He was waiting for this guy. This guy pulled out, and that SU-152 aimed while the Carnarvon was driving forward for those 3 or 4 seconds, was aiming to take him out on the battlefield and aiming for the upper plate or whatever. And he aimed and aimed and aimed, and he pressed the trigger, and his shot, he was fully aimed, and his shot deviated and hit the tracks. And, a fanboy would say, learn to aim and get good. But the SU-152 has bad Sigma. Bad. It is such a troll gun. It's a lot of fun when it hits, but man, that gun just trolls you. Oh, and an invisible tank is shooting him. He's in those bushes there, buddy. There you go. Now watch this. Is the gun gonna hit? I rest my case. I rest my case. Marrow Marksman, well done, beautiful game. And the question for you guys now is, which would you prefer? A tank with good Sigma, maybe lower alpha, or bad Sigma, but higher alpha? So when you hit, boy, it's really nice to have those high rolls, but you get trolled a lot with the gun. It seems to be that's the way it works. The guns with higher alpha have poorer Sigma, even fully aimed, like the SU-152. Carnarvon, very. To me, the guns with better Sigma function, I prefer. It's just more enjoyable to play. But some people really like the big guns, even though they get trolled. Let me know which one you prefer. Okay, leave some comments and let me know which tanks you think have horrible Sigma and which ones have really good Sigma that are maybe not the typical ones we would talk about. And I'll read your comments and I'll try and find a replay on those tanks and we'll feature them and just watch how the gun behaves. Okay, guys? Catch you on the next one.